just got back from our trip to the Dolomites in Italy. It was my first time there, and I was blown away by the scenery. We ended up spending most of our time hiking through beautiful mountains, did a bit of rock climbing, hung out with some friends, and ate the best pizza I've ever had in my life. It ended up being an incredible trip, and personally I cannot wait to go back. I'm excited to show you some of my favorite moments from this trip, but first, let me take you back to the start, when we hit the road. We kick things off at Trecime, a world-class destination. Oh yeah. The day started out rainy and a thunderstorm rolled through. At one point, lightning struck less than half a kilometer away. Well, the weather has started to improve. The storm passed and the sun is maybe even coming out a tiny little bit. And finally we're starting to get a pretty decent view of Trecime? Trecime, yeah. We set off and it turned out to be a beautiful day. The hike is really easy, especially if you take the bus up. It's only about 7.5 kilometers with roughly 250 meters of elevation gain. However, despite the short distance, the views are absolutely breathtaking. So, what's the plan for the evening?
Eat.
Yeah.
And chill for a bit. Just that's a holiday about it.
Yes. Yeah.
And make a plan for tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Day 2, we went to Bolzano. It was rainy, so we wandered around town. Grabbed some food and peeked into a few stores. This is where I had my first Italian pizza, and it was amazing. In the afternoon, once the rain started to clear, we drove up to Karersee, which was absolutely gorgeous, a beautiful alpine lake. Alright, let's do a quick mission, race the sun, and go up there. Excuse me, you're kind of blocking the movie screen.
Oh, really?
It's a little windy. Before we got to the top, the weather started to roll in. Still, the trail was nice, and we even caught a little cloud inversion along the way. Damn, we're right there, but this cloud came out of nowhere, and it is forming quick and coming right for this peak. And they're not calling for thunderstorms, but they weren't yesterday either, so another little rejection, but we'll make the right decision and save ourselves plenty of other adventures. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here, yeah? Oh yeah. Day 3 started near Karersee Lake. Our goal was to take a via ferrata over to the Santner past Rifugio, then complete a big loop around the back of the mountains. The hike to the start of the via ferrata was really nice. We saw llamas, some small waterfalls, and had a really nice introduction to the mountains in this area. Finally, we got to the Via Ferrata. It was really exposed, but manageable, a little scary, but lots of fun. There wasn't much iron, so oftentimes it was just scrambling. It's kind of silly that they call it a Via Ferrata. Nice love. Sorry to our parents. I swear we're being safe. Santner Pass Rifugio, which is just beautiful. Beautiful backdrop. Sweet. Time to go get some food, some much deserved food. After a radler and some nice food, we left to finish the loop. The hike along the backside of the mountains offered some of the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen in my life. Rolling grass hills and boulders, huge beautiful mountains in the background. It was an amazing day, but a long one. We covered about 25 kilometers and did over 2,400 meters of elevation gain. We got back to the car late in the evening, completely exhausted. All right, so right now we are hiking up to Frederick Augustus hut, and it looks beautiful, beautiful location, and we just got to this little viewpoint, just surrounded by walls, so there's some climbers right up there, and then behind us, can't remember the name, but another crazy wall. You can also see Piz Boe with the little Rifugio at the top. That's where we're going to go tomorrow, 3,152 meters. And then behind us is Punta Pena, which is in the Marmolada Massif, and it is the tallest mountain in the Dolomites at over 3,300 meters. All right, today it's the 5th day of our vacation, and I'm doing my first 3,000 meter summit, Piz Boe. Seems really easy, only about 800 meters vertical. There's a gondola, should be awesome. We're almost there. Piz Boe, 3,152 meters. A little crowded, but everybody's so nice. Punta Pena in the background. Alright, we are going to do a Via Ferrata that goes through old World War I tunnels and ruins. Should be incredible. Super stoked. We got our gear. Don't know how much we'll need it. Headlamp. Should be dark, cold, wet. Let's fucking get it. Teresa and I quickly decided to do this the night before. It ended up being a really hot day, and so it was nice to escape into the tunnels, which were nice and cool. We didn't really know what to expect, but it ended up being one of the main highlights of our trip to the Dolomites. The tunnels were long and went all the way to the top of the mountain. They were like a maze with plenty of little offshoots to explore. It definitely felt like you could get lost easily. Luckily, we didn't, and after wandering around for a while, we eventually made it to the top.
Sitting in the basement apartment I rented with you. Remembering the holiday party we had with the crew.
Getting down was exciting, with a couple parts of the Via Ferrata being so worn out that there was just a drop below your feet. You just had to hang on to the iron. This bridge is a lot spookier than I thought it would be. Right over here behind me, you can see some trenches from World War I. It seems like they were fighting Italians, I believe. Don't quote me on this because I have not looked it up yet, but I believe that the Italians were fighting down here, fighting against the Austrians up in the mountain passes and tunnels we just went through. Seems terrifying. Right now we are walking through one of these trenches. I'm gonna guess it was used as a resupply, since it appears like the front line was farther back there. Crazy to imagine people spending months and living and dying in these crazy, beautiful, horrible places. I don't have nearly as much footage from day 7, as we spent most of the day climbing, relaxing, and hanging out with some friends. My first trip to the Dolomites has been amazing, and I can't wait to go back. It has definitely instilled in me the desire to move back to the mountains. Making this video was quite a challenge, as piecing together a week of footage is not an easy feat, especially when you're as new to making videos as I am. I didn't have much of a plan going into the trip. I just wanted to enjoy myself, and so I was left with quite a variety of footage at the end. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.